This podcast is part of the Heartifact Podcast Network. For more of this and our other podcasts, head to heartifactstudios.com.au.
Which was like before the Gargano match was the last 5 out of 5 you
Yeah.
You look at that match as a whole, it's a good wrestling match, but it's not a 5 out of 5 wrestling match. But the story
is what gave you it.
Makes it
crowd reception.
Are we
and all that.
rolling?
We are rolling.
Okay.
I've just started rolling now.
No, perfect. Yeah, we do a cold open.
Yeah, okay. Well, welcome back to Australian Mania. It's the only wrestling podcast called Australian Mania. I'm your host, Ricki, as always, joined by Michael Thompson.
Good. I was going to say good afternoon, but people listening whenever
it's
they want.
It's
good moment.
We live in moments.
We do.
Good moment, team.
And David Yang.
Good moment. Now back onto what we were just discussing.
We just got onto this thing and we just like rolled halfway through it.
Yes,
which is perfectly fine because I think it's actually a really good thing to talk about. And I don't know if we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Right? So you said, like, CM Punk and John Cena was the last one until the Gargano series. The Gargano has picked up a 5-star with...
The first one was Gargano and Almas, and then you got one with Gargano
and now, is that the only one where Meltzer has broken the scale in WWE? Because that got a 5.25, I think.
Which one was that?
The most recent one with Adam Cole.
Oh,
that broke the scale.
That's the first.
Now, that's the only one he's ever broken in WWE.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
I know because he's given us 6 out of 5 in like the 80s, but I can't remember which promotion that was with.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it might have been NWA or someone that wasn't WWE, WWF, or whatever the fuck they were called in the 80s.
Now that match with Adam Cole was great, bell to bell, but its story wasn't like.
Wait, was it the 2 out of 3 falls or the recent one?
The recent one. The one where Adam Cole went over.
I like that one better.
Takeover 25.
Yeah, that's the one that...
I reckon it had a better story going in.
Better story going in or better story told in the match? This is what I want to know from Meltzer.
No, both.
Okay, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to know from... Like we'll just... I don't know at what point you started the recording, Michael, but we were talking about, it's... When Meltzer does these ratings and, like, we want to... Like... He's, in the recent years, broken this scale. To me, defeats the purpose of the scale. If you don't break the scale, you just readjust the median, right? Yeah. If you're going to give a lot of things 4s, ergo, that should eventually become the 2.5, especially if your scale's out of 5, right?
Yeah.
The 5 should be so almost unattainable that when it is achieved, it is like a generational match, right?
Yeah.
And this is what the foundation of credibility is built on.
That CM Punk Cena match.
That to me, I agree.
That felt huge.
That felt bigger than wrestling.
It did.
And it was bigger than wrestling. Because the story was bigger than wrestling.
Yeah.
Right? And that, to me, deserved the 5. And in the same vein, I would also give the Okada and Kenny series a 5 as well, right? Because to me, without the story, they told something so pure between those ropes. Something that I don't think has been done, or the closest that it has ever been done was Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, where it was just a match from bell to bell. If you didn't know the story, you were able to pick up the story in the match and understand it.
100%.
That does not get done at all.
No.
And probably the last, and you know what? Credit to AEW, they did it with Cody and Dustin. But it will not be achieved again. Like that to me, you needed to know their story going into that match.
Yeah, of course you did.
And they still managed to tell it between those ropes.
Yeah, I wonder if like...
But those vignettes, though, were fantastic.
Oh, they were goddamn excellent, right?
They were shot very, very well from start to finish. And it told the story that I think, and we've spoken about this too with AEW Double or Nothing too, and we spoke about it a few weeks ago when we did speak about Double or Nothing. They told the story that WWE did not want to tell between Cody and Dustin and how powerful their bond was as brothers before and after what Dusty did for the company, did for wrestling in general, as well as everything he did up until his tragic passing. And that's what AEW did well, is that they were able to tell a story through a couple of minute videos of each vignette, one from Dustin's side and one from Cody's side, and then sort of combine that into one big one for the event itself.
Yeah, and like that's the power of like a really good pre-match promo.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not discrediting that in any way.
My favorite,
but that's what I'm getting
really,
at.
It's really hard to go past the Rock Stone Cold one from 17.
Oh, that was good.
The one before the CM Punk Cena fight.
That to me is one of the best. I think one of the best pre-match ones is definitely the Daniel Bryan one.
Oh,
at 30.
The monster.
Yeah, the monster soundtrack over the top. And then, it was so perfectly encapsulating of his journey.
I honestly think that's the first time they've ever used indie footage for a WrestleMania promo package.
Yeah.
Because there was stuff of him. I don't think it would have been Ring of Honor, but it was during his American Dragon with
stuff.
The big long coat.
Yeah.
In the indies, I'm like,
that's
brave.
That to
that's
me
a big call.
Was they designed that one so well. That little minute and a half or whatever it is, perfectly told to me not just Daniel Bryan's story, but why he has gotten to this point at this particular moment in WrestleMania 30, where it's literally like, this is the culmination of my arc.
Yeah.
Essentially, right? Fuck, that was a goddamn brilliant vignette.
Yeah. Like, honestly, like, that story...
But you factored that in. To me, I love that so much, but I don't think that match was given a 5.
No,
to me, that story is a 5 out of 5 story.
That story is a 5 out of 5.
It's a 5 out of 5 story.
But the match had Batista and Randy Orton, neither of them at the height of their powers.
Yeah, yeah.
And you had Daniel Bryan battling against that. Plus, you had interference from Stephanie and Triple H. Match felt like a mess.
Yeah.
Like,
the match was a mess,
the match,
but the story...
Exactly.
was justified via what was taking place between
100%.
those ropes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? It made sense for the authority to try and get in the way.
Yeah.
It made sense for Stephanie to come out and interrupt. Whilst in the confines of a match, those suck, because you don't want to see that in a pure wrestling match.
No.
But from the story, right, which is what wrestling is. It's you're telling a story physically in this kind of medium, right?
Yeah.
And that was done. That was well achieved, in my opinion. And for me, I was so captivated by that. Like, for me, that's 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's everyone has their own personal
Everyone
style.
has their own personal, and that's why, like, and then roundabout point, why we don't listen to Meltzer, because it always is a subjective medium.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we always have to understand that.
I always feel like, I know you stiff Meltzer a lot, I feel like a guy that's been covering wrestling as a journalist for 40 years has a pretty good idea of what is good and what isn't.
Yeah, but at the same time...
People just need to listen to him talk more than just look at the star ratings and go like, what is his justification for this being 5 stars versus something that's been
that I agree with
3
that.
stars.
That should be more publicized than the fact that it's a 5.
The amount of people that call him out on Twitter for like, you gave this whatever you get, then he's like, go and actually read the newsletter and read what I said about a match, and that is like, and like we were just talking before, like, because we got on this like my scale for movie reviews when I do movie reviews. I don't like giving a score out of 5. I do because it's on radio and it's just easy for people to digest.
Before you even give that score, you justify it for about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Which is
like
perfect.
if people can't understand where I'm coming from and know they're going to like or dislike a movie based on what I say about it rather than just a arbitrary score that I give, then they're not listening. They're just waiting for me to say 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
You need to be able to understand where someone is coming from, and you need to be like that's the thing with Meltzer is like, I'd much rather listen to him describe why he likes.
And I
a
agree
match.
with that. That's what I'm getting at.
He's really good.
They
at
need
that.
to publicize that more,
but
they don't.
It's on the newsletter, which is behind a paywall.
Yeah.
But that is how he makes all of his money. So
but
I
the problem with
that.
the scale rating now is that it just seems to be commercialized.
No, it is.
It's almost at a point where...
Because that information is publicly available. The star ratings get released. His reviews of matches are behind that Wrestling Observer paywall. That's fair enough.
Which is fair.
That's how he's been making his money.
That's how he makes money,
for 40 years.
Yeah, and the
selling
diehards will jump on and buy it, which is fair.
Exactly.
Fair. Yeah.
So,
but the problem is, and maybe it's not a problem that he can address, right? But the problem is starting to become the commercialization of these star ratings.
Yeah.
And that was definitely prevalent when someone like Kenny Omega last year came out and was just like, I'm the 5-star machine, right? Which is a direct putting over of, I'm out here to get that 5 stars from David Meltzer. It's almost like he's deliberately doing it to get the 5 stars.
You got to remember, at a certain point, everything the elite do is very tongue-in-cheek. Like, at one point, I think that one of the Bucks shirts was just an entire Meltzer review screen printed onto a shirt of that calling them shit, like, really bad at wrestling.
Yeah.
And then I think they had a follow-up shirt where they got their first ever 5-star review, and they actually got a copy of the newsletter and framed it and put it up in one of their offices. So everything they do when it comes to Meltzer, I mean, the Young Bucks finisher is called the Meltzer Driver.
Yeah.
Everything they do with Meltzer is very tongue-in-cheek. So Kenny calling himself the best bout machine, that's the thing. It could have been him, or that could have been New Japan front office being like, we need a new gimmick. The cleaner is dead. What do we call you now?
No, that's what I'm saying. It could be, but to me, it feels like
if this was WWE, I would 100% believe that Vince would have gone out and been like, you're now the best bout machine. That is your gimmick now. New Japan could be on a similar wavelength when it comes to the very top, being like, we need to rebrand you. The cleaner gimmick is dead.
But like, there's a lot of evidence to support the fact that he only came up with, maybe not he only, but like the idea of the best bout machine came about after this series of Okada, where it was.
Yeah, I know.
The news broke.
But it was also,
I can't believe they broke the scale with 6.25.
It was also the best Kenny had looked in years.
No, agreed. Also, like I'm not saying it's directly attributed,
but because he's being partnered up with Okada, because Okada is the best wrestler in the world. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. It's an endless fucking debate.
Yeah,
you know
huge.
It is.
Yeah,
we've had it so many goddamn times where it's just like we just go over the same points over and over again. TLDR.
It's a subjective medium. Understand that, but I'm I'm not saying it's starting to, but there is such high potential for it to be so heavily commercialized. We're at a point where it's like people who aren't as attuned as, like, I'm not going to say we're the greatest attuned in the wrestling scene, but like someone like us who are hardcores, other hardcores, we look at the star system and we know it's subjective.
Yeah.
Right. But others will look at that and go, like a casual who might jump onto the internet every now and then, see this star rating and go, oh my God, and then go jump over to New Japan. But we all know that Meltzer stiffs WWE. So they'll look at WWE rating and go, oh, they got 2.25, but they might have liked that match. But now they're questioning why they like that match because they've just seen this highly regarded guy give it a 2.25. Where it's not about that. You like that match because what WWE does, it's different between the ropes, as opposed to what Meltzer ranks his star ratings on.
I don't think Meltzer necessarily stiffs WWE.
He perceives wrestling differently to what WWE produces.
I know, but because he started out as a pro wrestling journalist.
Yeah.
Now that we've moved into sports entertainment, it's not what he started reviewing.
Agreed.
I guess.
Agreed.
And so, like, when you look at NXT being the only place that really gets those high ratings, NXT is much more pro wrestling than it is sports entertainment.
But that's what I'm saying. Now that's where Meltzer has to understand his responsibility. It's a self-imposed one that he probably didn't even ask for, but now it's a responsibility because the industry has moved to sports entertainment. Yeah. Because the giant of the industry is a sports entertainment one, and while other companies are pro wrestling ones, you must understand that the biggest audience base does go to WWE. People who are going to be looking at that product will eventually find the Meltzer Star Ratings and then question why they question the product that they are watching. But what they're watching is not what Meltzer is ranking on.
Look, maybe at the end of the day, WWE,
like we've all said to each other, we like WWE because there's still potential. Yeah. And we see that. But we also like WWE for a lot of their stories and gimmicks that they still have currently going on right now. Yeah. But none of that's going to be so highly ranked by Meltzer. But Meltzer has such an authority on this.
I feel like you're stiffing him a bit too much. WWE are going to have fans to spite themselves. Like, they are always going to have fans. Whereas, like, if you somehow, like, the crossover of casual pro wrestling / sports entertainment fans and people who know who fucking Dave Meltzer is, that's a very small Venn diagram. But those people that start to move over there and see Meltzer and then go, oh, what's this match that got 5 or 6 out of 5 stars? What's New Japan? Then they go and find New Japan.
You know what? Actually, yeah, you might. Okay, I'm now starting to see it from that lens.
It may just be a thing where it's like, there is an.
He's necessary to the industry.
Yeah, there is an alternative. Like, I didn't really the first time I heard about, the first time I actually actively seeked out New Japan was the Shinsuke v AJ match. Because I heard about Meltzer Star Rating for it. I heard and it was around the time they both were giving up their contracts, or leaving their contracts in New Japan, coming to WWE. So one of the first New Japan matches I actually watched was that match, and now I'm like obsessed with it. Like, G1 is happening in a couple of weeks. I'm fucking so goddamn keen. Best of Super Juniors was fucking amazing. I love it. I watch Wrestle Kingdom, Dominion, most of their major pay-per-views live every year now. But only 4 years ago, I wasn't watching the product, but it was because of Meltzer, the big rave reviews that it got. I now became a fan. So there is value to what he does. And the fact that he prefers that Japan wrestling style over a WWE style, I'm not necessarily thinking he stiffs WWE purposefully, but I think he also shines a light on other promotions that otherwise wouldn't get shone
that's
on
another aspect of his responsibility now, that he has self-imposed on himself to the industry. And I respect that. That's fair. That's such a good point. I agree. I just still think there is merit to the idea that he's still oftentimes a bit unfair to WWE because of, whilst the match itself was not great, WWE does things in terms of longevity. They tell big arching stories.
Big stories, yes.
Where the payoff isn't in the first 2 months. The payoff really happens in that one split moment 4 months from now. But all of this is necessary to build to it. Yeah. But in that time, they get stiff.
When they do it right, they do it better than anybody else.
Yeah.
It's just at the moment they're swinging and missing a lot more than they're hitting.
Yeah.
Which I think we can all agree on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I guess we'll jump into that. Then.
We can definitely do.
Is there any news, Michael?
There's a few bit of news coming through. Some really sad news has come through my desk as well, and that is the passing of Adrian Lionheart. McKellen passes away. Yeah. That's just come through my desk. There was a haunting final tweet that he put out as well before his passing too, which is really sad. So we send our thoughts and prayers to the Lionheart's family and friends, colleagues, and all that during this difficult time. But that's just breaking as of right now, which is really, really sad. Matt Hardy, though, is still teasing some new gimmicks. Like we've seen over the last few weeks, we've seen him with the version 1 shirt on when he's been running around the hall. He's brought back the broken gimmick when he was speaking to Gallows and Anderson too. So,
and he called Shelton Benjamin Senior Benjamin on
on
television this week.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, and I want to get your thoughts on this guy too before we move on to some other news as well. Where do you think he's going with this gimmick? Like, is it sort of like the best of what Matt Hardy's come to offer? Because I remember 2 months ago hearing that he was going to bring in potentially the big money Matt gimmick that he had for a little bit in TNA Impact Wrestling that he was going to bring in, which
he's like a Mick Foley, but just not hardcore. Like in the aspect of
like multiple different gimmicks.
Yeah, like
but
like Mick Foley would tease them, and he'd be like, "Oh, you're going to get Cactus Jack, or you're going to get Dude Love."
Yeah,
right. And like, and it's a beautiful thing. It's because no one else currently has so many like Matt Hardy has evolved so many times.
Yeah,
so many times.
You've got Hardy Boys, you've got V1, you've got Broken Matt, you've got Big Money Matt, you've got just all these slight variations, and it's all Matt Hardy, but like
But there's different aspects of his personality coming and shining and being put over, right? The same with with Mick Foley when he had Mankind, Dude Love, blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah,
it's a beautiful dynamic to have because I like the idea that any given week, if you piss off Matt in a way or if you push Matt in a way, it's like, no, you're going to get this, right? And then it's a surprise to the people in the arena, right? Like it's so fun.
This does feel like his like farewell tour, like his greatest hits. Like he's coming out, he's giving you a little bit of everything that made you love Matt Hardy because like
him and Jeff are definitely closing in on it.
Well, I mean, Jeff keeps hurting himself, which I don't want him to do. Like he's still doing swantons and shit, man. Dude, you're in your 40s. Please look after yourself. There is a life after wrestling. I know a lot of these guys can't see it right now, but there is a life after wrestling, and you want your body to be as good as it can.
Absolutely.
Especially going into your 50s, which Matt and Jeff both are like a lot closer to than thhan 40.
Than they think they are?
Yeah, exactly. So like they need to...
Jeff's only early 40s. Matt's older.
Matt is older. Yeah. I think maybe Jeff is, but Jeff, like, it just feels because like
but still, 40s is 40s.
They started.
I got a sore back now.
Yeah.
Jeff's 42, by the way, guys.
They started on television when they were in their teens,
and Matt's 44.
Yeah,
44.
Couple years older.
So 42 and 44.
There you go.
But like you forget about Jeff because he did start when he was 16 or 17.
Yeah,
he was on WWE.
He lied about his age. To get on TV,
and he's been prevalent in the industry since.
Yeah,
so that's 20 plus.
They've had a very long career,
and especially
a very proud career for both of them in different promotions.
Matt's had a relatively safe career.
Yeah,
but Jeff he needs to go down as one of the best. Honestly, I was thinking about this the other day. I think Jeff Hardy might be the one wrestler when we talk about greatest of all time, he will get lost in the conversation.
Which would be a shame.
When you think about just his style of wrestling, just how much the audience gravitated him, because aside from Daniel Bryan, we've had this discussion before. Aside from Daniel Bryan, no one has managed to garner such a reception the likes of Jeff Hardy for as long as he did. Right now,
okay, for as long as he did, okay.
For as long as he did.
I'll give you that, yeah.
For as long the guy, aside from his TNA run, never was a heel.
Yeah.
Right? He was a perennial face in WWE,
he was.
rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, along with Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Right? Multiple-time world champion, and at the height of his WWE run, he was the most popular commodity in wrestling.
That pop
beating John Cena.
That pop when he beat Edge.
Yeah.
That was
nuts.
Right?
That was something else.
Jeff will get lost in this and then you add in longevity, you add in style of wrestling. Like it's the guy will get lost when he talks about...
I think variety of opponents as well. Like he's worked with like just a multitude.
He can work
of different...
with anyone.
He can.
Anyone.
And if you look at the 6 men who were in the original TLC match at first, there's only 3 of them left still going.
He changed the industry.
Yeah, and that's Bully Ray, who's doing great stuff in Ring of Honor at the moment.
Yep.
And the Hardys, like Edge retired, Christian's retired, and Devon's retired. He's now backstage producer for WWE. So those 3 knew when to call it quits. It's now a matter of time. It's when is Matt and Jeff going, okay, I think our bodies have copped enough beatings for one lifetime at least.
The one thing Jeff will miss out on when it's all said and done, I think, is just one really big story. I think they tried to do it when they put him against Matt, but since then...
Well, he had the bit with Punk, because Punk was
but I'm talking like
abusing.
A big story. Something that, like, it's... Like, when you think of the biggest stories that have come out of WWE, right? Like, they all belong to the greats, right? So you've got CM Punk and his rise to the top. You've got the Daniel Bryan arc, right? Just...
Stone Cold's entire career.
The Rock becoming The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock becoming The Rock,
John Cena and The Rock.
Mick Foley capturing the title. Yeah, Mankind.
Like these are big stories, right? And then they're big stories that lasted a while. Jeff, to me, for as great as he is, and for as great as he should be recognized as, he will not have a big story to his name. Because, like, whether or not we consider it to be in that echelon, him winning the WWE title, whilst huge, didn't feel like a big story, or they didn't put it over to be a big story at the time.
It was more of a,
he beat Edge and Triple H, and it kind of just, and in that moment was huge. But there wasn't any moments leading up to it, or so long after it that made that feel huge.
Did he get done for one of his wellness things right after he won the title?
He might have, yeah. And that'll always be a knock.
I think that'll always sort of like be the pushback from WWE corporate of just like.
But at the same time,
every time we gave this kid a chance to be the big one, something happened. And like he said that he's come out and said like, whenever I was at my peak was when I would fuck up.
Yeah.
Whenever I was like right about to grab the brass ring was when I would do something stupid that would get me in trouble. So, but I was going to say, do you think that the Hardy, like both Matt and Jeff, are worthy of 2 Hall of Fame entries individually?
Jeff
and as the Hardy Boys?
Yeah.
Jeff will get twice. Jeff will definitely go twice.
You reckon?
Yeah, he'll go in as Hardy and he'll
Not
go in
Matt?
as Jeff Hardy. Matt Hardy is a bit questionable. It's a question.
I think
it's without a question that Jeff goes in twice.
I think both of them will. Only because of what Matt's done, not only in WWE, but also what Matt's also done in pro wrestling too. Because Matt sort of...
He revived gimmicks in wrestling.
He did.
Yeah.
And like the broken gimmick was the most talked about gimmick of 2016.
Yeah.
If they incorporate his TNA work and him bring it across to WWE in a
they did
fashion.
sort of do it a little bit with Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett's Hall of Fame inductions a little bit too.
Yeah,
which is fair. If they do that, then I guess Matt does have a...
I feel Matt's worthy of 2 entries as the Hardy Boys and as himself. Like he's done...
Jeff as well.
Look, you're right. Look, I'm just saying, in contrast to Jeff, it's a question.
Okay. Yeah.
In contrast to anyone else that's already in the Hall of Fame, he should just go in by himself because the honky tonk man's in there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on.
I also think as well...
It's always going to be like the...
Yeah, it's like, okay, should I be in the Hall of Fame? Wait a minute. Honky tonk man's in there. What's his resume? Okay, yeah, you're fine.
It's
you're
like
that and The Godfather. It's
Christian,
like the two, like...
Christian should be in that Hall of Fame as well by
himself.
himself.
Has he not gone in yet?
No, he hasn't. But I also think as well there'll be a time where Edge and Christian as a team will go.
Oh yeah, they'll go in as well.
But
so they've already put the Dudleys in, haven't they?
Yeah, Dudleys.
Yes. Yes.
Have they discussed the idea of putting in matches into the Hall of Fame?
No,
they haven't.
You reckon that's something that'll ever be done?
Maybe.
If you had to put a match into the Hall of Fame, a match. Now we just said one. I think the Triple Threat TLC.
Yep,
goes into the Hall of Fame of matches.
All right, matches that are okay. That
just one match off the top of your head right now that goes into the Hall of Fame.
Mankind winning the title on Raw.
Moment. Or true.
No,
okay.
but the whole
you got to package that.
Because you've got Shane involved, you've got Vince involved, you've got Stone Cold involved, you've got The Rock, you've got DX, you've got
not even that. That actually changed the industry,
and it did.
It literally
flipped the tide back to WWE. Yeah. Like that match.
That would be the first one I put in the Hall of Fame.
You watch that match back.
Andre Hope.
There are so many elements in that match that make it fucking incredible, and just like the glass shattering towards the end of the match and Stone Cold coming out,
dude,
and winning the match. But that is just the end of that story. Like like with DX, you got the corporate ministry or whatever the fuck they were called then, all involved. DX is there. Like it's such a mishmash of everything that made the Attitude Era what it was. It was the perfect storm.
Yeah, I agree.
Fair enough. I've got Taker Michaels 25 in that one because that's just a straight up wrestling match, and that revived.
That's always my second.
And that revived Shawn Michaels, and that people still refer to him as Mr. WrestleMania because even though his body started giving out after 24 against Flair, he showed that at 25 and then 26 that he can still go the distance.
That used to be my favorite match.
I do have that TLC one in there,
and then he came back.
I do have that TLC
but that's a good trilogy of like the TLC match, which like gave us something we'd never seen before in wrestling.
Yeah.
The Mick Foley match that was just like one of the best.
Changed wrestling.
That changed the tide of the Monday Night Wars and was just one of the best moments. And then, Taker Shawn Michaels, which has got to be probably the best WrestleMania match of all time.
Yep.
There's probably been better matches, but
that one is like everything
at Wrestle, because like you look at WrestleMania, you really look at WrestleMania. There's only a couple of matches that stand out as really good wrestling clinics. Flair Steamboat. No, sorry, Macho Man Steamboat.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is a fucking
Bell to bell between the ropes. Brilliant. Yep.
Absolutely fucking
I
phenomenal.
put Angle Michaels 21 in there too.
Yep, that's up
another
there as
one.
well.
And then take a Sean.
Yep.
They're matches that are really, really good professional wrestling matches that happened at WrestleMania. There aren't too many of those. Like, they're all spectacle. They're all huge. Like, even all the Rock Stone Cold matches.
More spectacle.
They're great. But they're spectacle.
They're more spectacle. They're about the story being
They
told.
are.
Between
And
those
they're
guys.
really good stories being told, especially the Stone Cold heel turn, which, say what you will, it was, at the time, I can see why they would do that. It's like, we need something huge. This has to be it.
Would in 15, 20 years' time, the Cena AJ match where it was just a pure wrestling match, would that be considered maybe
Rumble?
as a match in the Hall? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just-
What, in the Hall of Fame?
In the Hall of Fame.
It'll be remembered. It'll be remembered because I think that we've only scratched the surface of what matches go to the Hall of Fame. I do believe the John Cena Triple H, the John Cena CM Punk one, goes into the Hall of
11,
Fame.
Yep. That was...
I firmly believe if we're going to put if we're going to put another Mania match on it, you've just suggested Shawn Taker. I firmly believe Triple H Taker in the Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels as guest referee.
Yeah.
That
End
is
of an
the
era.
only time in wrestling have I ever been so thoroughly fucking worked.
Yep.
And bell to bell, that was excellent. And it genuinely, to me, was an end of an era.
Yeah.
Granted, they've
Come back.
they've fought since.
Two out of three of those guys just performed in Saudi Arabia.
Yep, and all three of them were not too long ago also in Saudi Arabia
fuck, they were.
and did a match there.
Who would have thought?
So the era was back. But at that time, the era had ended.
Yes.
Right?
But because you start with Shawn Michaels from 25, because he was really the first man who almost gave you that inkling that, oh shit, Taker's streak could come to an end at this WrestleMania.
And that was the first time I had felt the inkling, but I genuinely felt that it had ended when Triple H and fucking Shawn connected for that sweet
I
chin
thought, like,
and
that's
fucking pedigree.
over.
To me, I didn't have an inkling. I knew it was done.
Yeah.
I knew it was done.
Like,
and then I got fucking worked.
Yeah. I never believed it against Batista. I never believed it against
I never believed
Edge.
it against anyone. Hell, I didn't even believe it against Brock.
Yeah.
Like, until it happened.
And then it happened.
Right? but so firmly did I believe it was going to happen in that moment only for... Oh, my God. I'm just reliving
There were
it.
three people that I thought that Undertaker
Do you
could have
reckon they
lost
told
to.
the ref, like, this could be... And then it was just... Oh, fuck. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I'm marking right now.
I had Shawn, Triple H, and Punk as my three men who could have beaten that streak.
Yeah. I believed it against Punk. I was like,
Yeah.
I was ready to be like, if they're gonna... Like, that was just off this huge face run. He had just he just finished his, like, it was at the tail end of his heel turn.
Yep.
But it was like picking up steam as a heel.
And he had just dropped the belt
to The Rock.
So,
To The Rock.
he
So
had
it was
just
like,
finished
this
Summer of Punk.
is
It was huge.
like, you know, he's got the momentum. If they're going to run him as a heel, this is the perfect way to do it.
But I think what they
And it
should
would have been
done,
a good establishing, too, because...
Pull the fucking trigger.
What they should have done, though, with Punk is that if he was to beat the streak, him and Taker should have gone on last.
Well,
Because
yeah.
that would have given you the inkling going, there's
could
going to be a
happen.
swerve
Yeah.
here, or there's going to be something that's going to happen
Well,
here.
that's how they swerved me when Taker did drop the fucking streak, was that he wasn't on last.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there going, all right, if
was
Taker's on last, he might lose. If Taker's not on last,
There was a
he's
Divas
not going to
Battle
lose.
Royal after he
Yeah,
lost the
yeah.
title.
Fucking
After he lost
palate
the streak.
cleanser.
Yeah,
like,
it was
exactly.
middle of the card, too, and...
No, wasn't it? It was third last.
third last.
I'm so very vocal about this, about being one of the stupidest things. But at the same time, you've made good points, Ricki, that it fit into like a good spot on the card.
Yeah.
Right? Like Taker Brock needed to be third last.
Yeah, if it
For
was second last going into that main event, you would have had no energy for Daniel
Yeah, you would have had
Bryan.
no energy.
So
and if it was
everyone-
last, you would have left kind of bitter.
Yeah,
But like at that position, not only would you have not expected it, which eventually does become the payoff.
yeah,
You do get that ability to have a palate cleanser before the big payoff of the evening being Daniel Bryan going over.
Yeah.
Because that truly was the story of the night. And like, but that's why I have a problem with it, because the story of the night should have been Taker losing the streak. Right? Like,
All right, moving on. I've got a couple other news items as well before we
Yes.
sort of get into the other things. AEW have just released their Road to the Fighter Fest episode number 3, and in this one, Brandy Rhodes has officially announced that at All Out, we're going to see the unveiling of the Women's World Championship belts, which I'm looking forward to seeing. So if you look at this, before we do, this is the current AEW Women's roster.
I was about to say, give us
Ali,
that, and then we got to
Awesome
give our...
Kong, Bea Priestley, Brandy Rhodes, Britt Baker, Heiku Shida, Kylie Ray, Leva Bates, Nyla Rose, Penelope Ford, Riho, Yuka Sakazaki, and Sadie Gibbs.
All right,
who do you strap it on?
first champion. Who we got?
I've got I've got Britt Baker. I think
Good
Britt
choice.
Baker
Good choice.
is the
The
obvious
doctor.
choice.
Britt Baker is an obvious choice.
I'm thinking maybe.
I think Bria Priestley might be
I'm
the
thinking
one
maybe
that's
her as well.
a bit-
B
How are they doing?
Priestley?
Is that just a battle royal?
I think they might. I think they're going to unveil the belt, but they might start doing maybe the tournament matches.
Oh,
at
okay.
Pro
So
Tour All
it'll
Outs.
be a tournament and then leading up to a singles match for it, not a
Yeah,
battle
so
royal. of the
that's
crowd.
really good. So we got B. Priestley, Britt Baker,
What have you got?
Kylie Ray.
I
Oh,
like
you
how
have
we're
a
all
co-
different.
She had a good showing.
She's good. I
She
like
had a good
Smiling
showing.
Kylie Ray.
Yeah,
I think the three that we've mentioned are the genuine ones that if they were to win it,
I think the dark horse and someone that would like
Nyla
get a really
Rose?
big pop. No, not Nyla Rose. Really big pop. Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
yeah.
Her getting it would just be like awesome. That's cool. And then she
good
would,
first champion to drop almost.
yeah, exactly. And then who
it's the Jericho.
whoever takes it off her,
Yeah.
that feels a lot bigger.
Yeah,
Because if you look at back in the day when her and Gail Kim were the first Impact Women's Wrestling Women's Championship singles match, Gail Kim beat Awesome Kong originally,
Yeah.
and then eventually Kong got the belt and she became one of the most dominant women's or knockouts champions in the company's history. But her and Gail Kim used to put on some really damn good matches.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? Awesome Kong should win because
Yeah.
it does. Like I just said before, it does fall into that whole like we have the exact same situation with the AEW World Title, right? It's like okay, on the one hand, you give it to Paige, you establish a star. But at the same time, this is the first person that holds your belt.
Yeah.
Right? You want to establish immediate credibility.
Yeah.
Right? So you give it to Jericho, but not holding it long.
No.
I think the same thing is done with the women's title, where you give it to Awesome Kong, who's had this absolute career.
Yeah.
Right? One of the defining women, all right, in women's wrestling. Someone who was stood out based on, like, her ability to wrestle as well as what, like, and let's be honest, like, just the way she looks. Right?
Yeah.
In an industry where she was developing her craft, in an industry where it was like swimsuit models, right? She
Yeah.
was an outlier,
Yeah.
but she still succeeded, right?
Fuck yeah.
Her story is amazing. So you give it to, and while she's on the tail end of her career,
Yeah.
right? So you give it to her while she can still go, immediate credibility, and then you put over another star.
Yeah.
The belt shouldn't have to, the belt can put over, the belt shouldn't have to in its first run, right?
No.
Let the person make the belt initially, and then let the belt be the reason that they get over after beating the person who made the belt. So then that someone like Kylie Ray, right, or Britt Baker comes and takes it from Awesome Kong.
It's
Same
a
thing
good
with Chris
roster.
Jericho.
It's an in-depth women's roster. Though.
Yeah, it's good. It's very different, diverse styles.
Dark horse, Sasha Banks.
Still has
She
not
keeps
been seen.
She keeps liking AEW tweets.
on
Yeah.
WWE television.
So many of
She's
them.
teasing it. She's teasing it.
Ah.
And then the final bit of news as well is that they've got their NXT Breakout tournament, which is announced by William Regal. So you got Boa v. Jordan Miles. You got Trevor Lee, known as Cameron Grimes, taking on Shane Strickland, who's now called Isaiah Swerve Scott. Dexter Loomis, who used to be known as Samuel Shaw, versus Bronson Reed, who used to be known as Jonah Rock.
Look.
Joaquin Wilde, who used to be known as DJ Z, and then Angel Garza, who used to be Garza Jr.
Bronson Reed.
Yeah, look, we'll
I'm indifferent.
yeah.
I'm indifferent.
It's one of those things we're gonna get used to all of these name changes. It's
Well,
gonna
'cause
be
it's one of those things where like we know Jonah Rock and we've
Yeah.
got accustomed to it, and it was such a good gimmick here, and that's why I'm not against Bronson Reed, because I do think it. You know, if we give it some time and it does well, Bronson Reed isn't a bad name.
I think we because
just not American.
because he's from Australia, because he's from our scene, we just associate it's Jonah Rock. If we were Irish and heard that Finn Balor was going to be called Finn Balor, like Prince Devitt was going to be called Finn Balor in NXT when he first came across, we would have been pissed.
Yeah,
because no,
but
that's
I
fucking
love
Fergal.
It. Yeah, that's true.
That's Fergal or that's Prince. You know,
Prince Devitt.
yeah, but like
But Finn Balor just it's so
Finn Balor.
it's just so powerful. to
Finn
me.
Balor.
Yes. It actually sounds better. It sounds better than Prince Devitt. In
It
my
does, it
opinion.
does.
I don't know. I like Prince Devitt, but that's just me. But yeah, we're gonna get used to it. Like, I mean,
Oh no, we are.
what was the big one? There was like a real
Punishment Martinez changed his name, didn't he as well?
Damian Priest. I like Damian Priest though.
So do I. But I do like
look,
Punishment Martinez.
Honestly,
though.
Punishment Martinez is a fucking great
Yeah,
name.
it's fucking excellent.
But Damian Priest is not a bad substitute.
Yeah, I agree.
Killian Dane after like Big Damo. I'm used to Killian Dane now. I still
I mean,
miss.
Tommy N to Alistair Black.
That's not a bad one.
That's not a bad
Honestly,
one. If
that's
anything,
not a bad
actually,
one.
that might be better.
Yeah,
I might say that's better than.
What
Tommy
about
N.
Trevor Lee to Cameron Grimes?
Trevor Lee's just a decent name. Like
I'd love to know the conversations that happen backstage to how they make them change them, because Keith Lee didn't change his name, right?
Maybe they didn't want
Matt
to
Riddle didn't change his name.
Well,
like-
Matt Riddle is his name.
Matt Riddle is his name, but they didn't give him a gimmick.
Yeah, I know,
name, right?
but
Is what I'm
like
saying.
he-
like
yeah, it's weird.
Jonah
like,
Rock was such a and granted we might have a lot of bias to it because we are Australian, but I think Jonah Rock, even on an objective level, is a nice wrestling name.
Yeah.
like, how are you breaking down those walls to him going, no, we got to change it to Bronson Reed. It's got to be this. Like, especially with guys like Keith Lee and Adam Cole, like those ones who have come in, granted, already established within the US market.
And kept their names.
How did they keep their names? Right?
Well,
like, how are they justifying
even
that?
Kevin Steen had to change it. Like, Kevin Steen is his name.
Yeah.
And they changed it to Kevin Owens, which we're used to now.
I like it, but like...
Yeah, Kevin Owens is a good name. But, yeah, there's a weird, like...
I'd just like to know that conversation that happens.
Yeah, it's like
whether or not the wrestler themselves brings it up, because there are cases where, especially Cassius Ohno, where it's like he himself has gone, I want to be Cassius here, I don't want to be Chris Hero because I want to be.
I think Kevin Owens was the same. I think Kevin Owens wanted the same as well.
Kevin Owens might be the same as well.
His son's name's Owen.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense as well.
That's what I'm saying. Is that conversation? Is that communication?
Maybe they also didn't want those Killstein Kill shirts to like pop up in WWE.
But the Fight Owens fight is probably a little bit more PG oriented, which is good. By the way, guys, as well,
I need a copper Killstein Kill
nothing
shirt.
too is Trevor Lee is still known as one of the youngest Impact champions of all time. He won the Impact Tag Team titles with Kurt Hawkins, who was known as Brian Myers when they were together as a team.
Jesus Christ.
So he's at 21, he won
the
world
lost
title.
look on Ricky's face right now, like, what the fuck?
Who's Kurt Hawkins?
Kurt Hawkins is an Impact?
Oh, right.
Trust Michael to know that.
They were the tag team champions who didn't show up on fucking TV every week. That's right. They were on main event as champions.
Yeah.
God, the tag division.
And then lost the belts to the Revival last week.
Yay. About fucking time. Maybe that'll get them to stay. I doubt it.
But that's...
no, they apparently turned down a 5-year deal recently.
Of course they did, because that's the right thing
they want
to
out.
do.
They want out.
They do want out. I would laugh if they're still tag team champions and their contract expires and they just take the World Tag Titles with them to AEW.
Be amazing. Be amazing.
Yeah.
I think one of them, I think it was Dawson, put up a tweet and it was like the Usos double super kicking him in the face. And I think the tweet was something to the effect of, no matter where we go, there will be a set of brothers super kicking us in the face. So, the Bucks.
Fair?
Yeah. Which I'm like, yeah. I don't know what's going to go on with them. Like, I kind of want them to stay because they're probably like them and the Usos are probably the two best tag team, like pure tag teams on WWE TV right now. And when they are given the chance to shine, they are amazing.
That's the case.
But imagine how much better they will be outside of the WWE.
Yeah, because Rikishi early this year teased as well that the Usos were on their way out as well of the company too, because he said he had spoken to his sons and his sons said they wanted out of WWE.
If any tag team in that company right now,
I don't see it,
would have like carte blanche, and literally be able to demand what they want, it's the Usos.
Yeah.
Like them leaving would do nothing for them. Right? Like, I mean, it would do something for them in the first 6 months if they booked right and get those dream matches out of the way.
I mean, yeah,
but for their legacy,
I want to see Bucks v Usos.
Yeah, but for their legacy, they are one of the greatest tag teams of all time already.
Yeah.
Already in WWE.
Yeah.
Like,
when people started saying that a couple of years ago, I still had the face paint Happy Usos in my mind.
I don't even fucking remember that
but
aspect.
now
they won 4 tag titles with them apparently.
I know, but now that's gone and we've just got what feels more closer to them, like their actual personalities.
Yeah.
Even though they put on a bit of the heel stuff, but for the most part, when they're just joking around,
they're fun-loving.
It feels like who they actually are, and it's been the best character change in the past 10 years.
New Day versus Usos rivalry should be.
It's still one of the best tag teams of the 2010s.
It's one of the best tag team rivalries of all time.
I will say this though too. The one thing I did like about the Usos straight away is that when they attacked American Alpha, the very next week they had no face paint or anything like that. They were in straight wear, everything like that. Yeah. So they just completely destroyed the gimmick within 1 week, which is good.
It feels like exactly what they probably wanted to do for ages, and they had all these ideas in their mind of when we turn heel, we come out in street gear, we get a new really good hip hop song to be our entrance music.
And it's so good. I still love that song.
It is.
It's the last time WWE really gave a tag team a chance
and a full facelift, facelift too.
They listened to them because you can only imagine that they would have been wanting that for a very long time. Because at the end of their old gimmick, for months, they were stale as shit.
Oh
right?
hell yeah!
And it just seemed like the last time WWE really looked at it and went, "All right, guys, here you go. Yeah. The slate is literally yours. Make it or break it." And they just so happened to have made it.
And the fans were chanting
right?
to them as well at one point in time too. You're as bad as Roman. Clap, 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 clap. You're as bad as Roman to the Usos.
Give the talent a chance again. Like that.
I'm waiting for that Bloodlines gimmick to actually be a thing. Like, where's a T-shirt?
That's going to be good.
Give us a T-shirt.
I mean, they've been pushing it on the socials.
They keep saying it. Like they.
I like it. I like the idea of.
I love the
Bloodline.
name too. The name's good. The Bloodline.
Yeah, even when like
Give me an edgier Roman, strap him with the Usos. It'll give the Usos something to do. Plus, it'll maintain their hype whilst they're not technically competing for belts.
Yeah.
Or they can and just run the fucking.
Let Roman
Freebird rule. Give Roman some tag straps. Give him some outside. Oh, it works for everyone.
But I'm not even that. Just do it like a New Japan gimmick where they just are a faction.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to interact with each other.
We discussed
every
it months ago that it seemed like WWE was moving into faction warfare,
And
they've stopped.
Yeah.
But it seems like faction warfare it's where they've got to lean into.
Maybe.
Because you got New Day already.
Yeah.
Expand them, right? Do the Bloodline.
Yeah.
Undisputed Era already is there as well.
True.
When they get called up, that's a faction. Faction warfare
Kevin
is
Owens.
needing to becoming a thing. Oh, that'd be fucking lit.
That would make me so goddamn happy. Raw this week. What happened? It was good.
It was
actually good.
decent for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. Give me more of Seth Rollins just beating up everyone with the chair. That was like,
don't give me more of the jobbers coming out and taking the chair shots.
yeah.
They
Look,
deserve a bit.
that's fair.
Yeah.
But
Hard
I
line
mean,
to juggle, but
the idea was he comes out and he's like, anyone that even thinks about being the special guest referee and siding with Baron Corbin is going to get this chair. I don't care who you are. This is your first and final warning.
yeah, I like it.
It
It's
was a
simple character.
Simple promo, and he just dropped the mic and walked out. And for the rest of the show, that through line, which was always the best thing about really good Raws, is you have to have this through line that goes from the first segment to the last segment.
Yeah.
It has to like just continue through. Him just going around, anyone that was seen talking to Baron Corbin, you get a chair shot. You get a chair shot. You get a chair shot. Everybody gets chair shots. And then it continued to Smackdown the next night.
Yep.
Anyone that talked to Baron Corbin, chair shot, chair shot,
And
chair shot.
he rolled in and gave the B team share shots.
Yeah. It's a good through line. It makes me excited for this pay-per-view that's apparently coming
up. But then you basically could say, you know what, let's turn it into a chairs match between Baron Corbin and Seth
God,
Rollins.
no.
Or no DQ or no DQ.
Yes.
Vince might be listening. So
chair matches are the worst. I hate them. They're pointless.
When there's like 400 chairs you can choose from.
It's so stupid. They're so dumb. I think the only good
you
chair
might as well
match,
just have a no DQ match.
surprisingly,
It is
the
a no
only
DQ match.
the only good chair match I've ever seen, Rey Mysterio versus Baron Corbin.
I thought John Cena Wade Barrett in 2010 was good.
Wasn't AJ
No, that was
Green a
TLC.
chairs
Wasn't
match?
that
That was
TLC?
TLC, yeah.
Yeah, but like just a chairs match.
But the one thing, I like,
Pure chairs match.
Wasn't AJ Dean a chairs match? Was
Yeah,
just
that
a-
wasn't too. They had the one backbreaker bit over the chair when it was like stood up.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
looked brutal, but
That was
apart from
fucking
that, it was
sick.
pretty basic
Yeah,
stuff.
fair enough.
because I was
But-
gonna say my favorite bit though was when John Cena pulled the massive chairs down on
But that was
Wade
a
Barrett.
full. That was
That
a full
was
TLC
high,
Yeah,
match.
that was great.
Yeah, but that
But it
was.
felt really bad though because
that-
that was the official burial of Wade Barrett.
It was literally a burial.
Yeah.
He buried him under chairs, and then Wade Barrett left. Took him too many years to leave, but he left, and now he's. What is he doing now?
He's an actor now, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's
an
also
actor.
apparently he's also
but I would have walked out the door right after.
he's
that.
he might be working with AEW as well.
Interesting.
Shoot.
As Stu Bennett. Stu Bennett is back.
Would you have seen Wade Barrett as a main eventer?
Yes.
If they had after
Yes.
after the Nexus invasion, where they just tore everything apart,
Yeah.
the ring, the fucking side, all the barriers, everything. That they had literally no limit on what they could have done with that faction.
I agree at that point, right?
And then
there.
they fucked it. And then they fucked it. After he lost after the entire Nexus lost to pretty much Cena single-handedly,
Oh, that
was the
even Cena wears that. Even Cena wears that and goes, "That was stupid."
that was the moment where Wade Barrett no longer looked like a main eventer. But he's got the look. He can talk. Like, he's got the look. He can talk. He's a big dude, and he had the skill in the ring. He had a shit finisher.
He's a brawler too.
His first finisher, which was like
The Wasteland.
yeah, I hated
Was that the one where it's on the shoulder and he flips
Yeah,
it?
it's-
And it's
Yeah,
oh,
it was
that. Oh, come
it was
on.
boring. It wasn't a good finisher.
Yeah,
but
finisher really defines a fucking.
but the
wrestler,
elbow.
doesn't it?
I was gonna say the elbow.
the elbow, I liked the elbow because it was like it goes back to sort of his bare knuckle brawling days.
Yep.
That I got behind,
He's a
but it was
bra-
too late. It
But
was too late.
he,
to
like
bring
his
that in.
gimmick, he should have been. He's a brawler from Britain.
That literally should have been like all of his gimmicks should have been that, and he should have had a beard when he came out. Him clean shaven looks weird, but like
Even Edge and Jericho said as well on records, they basically told Cena at the end of SummerSlam 2010, "What the fuck have you just done? You've buried potentially 6 new talented guys who could carry this company into the future."
Yeah.
What the fuck have you done?
I mean, it's not Cena's choice.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, don't stiff Cena.
No, but Cena,
You
at
know-
that point in time...
You know Vince would have been like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
But Cena's come out since, I don't know if it's on record,
he's come
but
out and said-
he's
he's
gone like, I know that was fucking stupid.
He regretted it. Like,
Yeah.
At first, though, he said it was a great idea because it enhanced his character.
Yeah.
But then a few years later, he said,
It's
you know what, second thought, I
2010.
shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, Cena didn't need it.
He didn't need any enhancement.
He didn't need any more
2010.
Super Cena
Have
shit.
you seen the recent thing that Meltzer's put out? I think it was a retweet of what someone else said. But there was a take that's been made that maybe WWE hasn't just been shit for the last couple of years. Maybe they've been shit for the last decade.
Yes, this was fucking brilliant. I
Yeah.
loved it.
And like we don't give Cena enough credit for having maybe just shit material, but he's the last charismatic person who has managed to make shit material look good.
Yeah,
I thought that was
It's
such an interesting
not
take.
a bad take. Even Meltzer was like, I haven't thought of that, but
Yeah.
that actually has some merit.
It's got a lot of merit to it.
Yeah.
Because you look at it,
There was a
what-
lot of
what-
bad Cena promos.
What's 1 year where you can say, you know what, in the last decade, that was actually a really good, consistent year. Can you name a
2016.
Really?
Consistent year? Yeah.
Consistent year in WWE?
Good year. Wasn't bad. Yeah.
2016. What was?
I mean, prior to that, obviously, there was a lot of years that weren't, but I think 2016 stands out as an outlier this decade, aside from 2011 and 12.
what happened in 2016? Remind me.
Brand split, and then the Dean uprising, AJ coming. AJ started the Rumble that year.
Yeah.
And then they had the AJ run.
What was
Roman
that-
was
was that
champion.
Fuck, it was too.
Seth was out, but then he came back. In
Yeah.
that huge pop.
Smackdown was the must-see
Okay,
show
but
every
what was
Tuesday.
WrestleMania that year was headlined by Roman v Triple H.
Yeah, okay, I'm not saying there was shit years, but
Terrible
consistently, there wasn't months on end of shitness. Right, there was a lot of
How
good
long
spots.
did Roman hold the belt that year? It would have been from
He held it till
Money in the Bank.
Till Money in the Bank, and then all
'Cause
three
he-
members
no,
of the
'cause he
Shield
got
won that
fucking-
belt that night.
He got popped for steroids.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
something
that.
like that.
That was that year.
Yeah, but he held it to Money in the Bank because
Yeah.
Dean won it. Seth won it off Roman. But Dean cashed in.
Yeah,
Dean,
so all three members of the Shield
Yeah.
won
Held
the
it
championship
in-
that
in
night.
one- And then that year we got the battleground triple threat.
yeah,
Yeah.
Finally.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. 2016, good year, right?
Okay.
But unfortunately, though, I thought the story was a bit ruined, a bit tainted, though, that triple threat match, because Roman wasn't able to actually be on TV to be part of that storyline. So basically, Rollins and Ambrose had to
Yeah, but
carry that storyline heading
That
into
is
Battleground.
that is a match that literally needs no build. You just see like it's the three members of the Shield in a triple threat match. There's your marketing.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And it was a great fucking match. And we got Cena v AJ twice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. 2016 probably the most consistently good
From start to finish, obviously they were bad, but the start to finish,
average to good year.
it was a good
It was a
year,
good
in my
year.
opinion.
It's not bad.
Last one prior to that was probably 2011, 2012. Like that's what I'm saying. From the decade,
2011.
consistently good.
I mean, it started off with a shit Rumble and a shit WrestleMania, but after that it got really
Probably
good.
one of the worst WrestleManias of all time that year, too.
27.
2011 from the half went really good.
From Money in the Bank onwards,
Yeah,
was
obviously-
fucking-
obviously
Well,
from
even
Money in
like
the Bank
before
on.
Money in the
Yeah,
Bank
yeah.
was great. That year also had the walkout, like the strike. I'm pretty sure.
On the Raw, that is still
Yeah.
one of the finest opening segments.
Yeah,
I personally
Sheamus,
love.
CM Punk, Cena, and Triple H.
Yeah, but it's
was great.
so different.
It's-
every
but
every start ever.
it's weird face Sheamus,
yeah,
which is so confronting
but
to
it's
me.
also a weird aspect of CM Punk's character to just be
calls
like,
everyone fella.
Oh, I love that.
And also, 2011 showed us one of the best rivalries on SmackDown between Randy Orton and Christian for the world title.
Oh, true.
Yeah, Christian
True.
revived his career
Yeah.
in 2011.
And
Yeah.
also
Okay,
in
okay,
2011 too was
okay.
fun, like SummerSlam. My favorite bit from SummerSlam though was, I'm gonna need the help of my best friend Edge. Edge just looked at him, Christian, going, "You become a whiny little bitch. I'm not helping you. You're on your own against Randy Orton." And then my favorite spot still from SummerSlam 2011 is when Randy Orton RKO'd Christian on the steel steps to win back the world title. But the
Okay.
way Christian won it though
Okay.
was perfect though.
But what we're looking at here is
and R-Truth too. R-Truth's heel turn was the funniest thing ever. Lil Jimmy,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then he teamed with The Miz.
Awesome Truth.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
the Miz and R-Truth were the two biggest heels of 2011 because they ruined the Hell in the Cell match between Punk, Del Rio, and Cena, locked themselves in, and then you see Triple H just beating the shit out of them as they're being escorted away by police at the end of Hell in the Cell. Well, that was a chaotic...
But you put all that to the side.
Before that, 2006.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
But
Edge fucks later on live TV.
yeah.
Oh, and Rey Mysterio, the uprising of Rey Mysterio, and
Rey
JBL
Mysterio,
coming into his own as
JBL,
well. Yeah, John Cena was world champion at the height of his career. RVD, like it was big.
DX reuniting.
Yeah.
Which was okay.
But
and
like-
then, the Cena...
The birth
Edge,
of Punk
the
in
Cena
ECW.
Edge, the Cena Edge rivalry.
Oh, that was a bit later.
In 2006.
But what, like, just to harken back to how this all started. So you take out 2011, you take out 2016. And I think this is where a lot of the merit comes to Cena, is when you think about the years that are shit there, the only things you remember about them is from 2012 and 2013, the year-long build towards the Rock feuds.
Yeah.
That's what captivated TV at the time, right? And then from then on, let's say, 2014, what was Cena doing then? Like,
probably feuding with Randy Orton.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, it was.
They merged the belts.
They merged the belts, right? That was huge. Cena was carrying that as well.
Right.
Cena,
and then you had like the organic build towards the Daniel Bryan. What eventually happened with Daniel
and then
Bryan.
Triple H turned heel for the first time since 2006 as well. When
that was 2013.
2013.
Yeah, 2013 was the heel turn. 2014 was Daniel Bryan winning.
The split of the Shield in 2014 as well when Rollins turned on.
Yes, that's probably got to be like the biggest moment on television in the last like decade. Probably is that.
The night after, they had one of the best six-man tag team matches of all time.
Oh, God, it was too, yeah.
Between Evolution and the Shields.
It's a fucking great match.
And the Batista walking out was always good.
Doing the Queen wave on the way out. Fuck, I love that. Goddamn. Anyway.
Give me what I want!
Nah, wrong
but
era.
I think there is,
wrong promo.
I know.
There is so much merit to
He
this
should have done
last
that.
10 years or so.
May have been average promos, but you had a guy who was charismatic enough
you had the right man who was carrying
to
all
put
this.
it over.
And but then now you contrast that to what we have now, and it definitely shines a light. And I think we've said it before.
Yeah.
Cena was so charismatic. He was such a story.
Oh, dude.
We don't have
There
and this is like I'm waiting to see it, but we said it before. Maybe aside from Bray Wyatt, a man who can take material, and put it so far on a pedestal that we don't even recognize how bad it is, because no one else on that roster right now screams charisma to me.
I think the issue is
there's no charisma. There's no charisma left. Roman isn't charismatic. Seth definitely isn't. Like,
but
objectively,
Roman can be though.
Roman can be.
But the problem is, I think, because
when he has been, he's been opposite Cena.
Yeah, he has. Cena has been given Cena got given the chance to go out there, and he was given this thing that for some reason no one else is given the option to do. Is he was able to play off the audience. He was like, Vince would let him do that, and he would let his promos run a bit longer if you got those huge dueling chants and shit like that, or if they were chanting something weird and he would react to it. No one does that anymore because no one is able to do that, because Vince is like,
I agree.
Go out there, hit the lines, get out.
Yeah.
If you had someone like, because everything you watch of Seth when he's not like in the WWE sphere, like on up, down, down, anything he does like sort of on like a WWE Chronicle or 24 or whatever, I think he's got charisma. I think he's brimming with it, but he's just not given the chance. He is someone that I think could play off the crowd really, really well.
I take it back. I think Big E is the most charismatic person in WWE right now.
You are not wrong. They have to be given some leeway with their promos.
I think New Day has a lot, but I think since Kofi has won the belt, they've been a bit more careful on how much leniency they have.
Yeah.
Now I think that's a problem, and that's going to be a problem if it continues.
Yeah.
The reason why the New Day were who they are and why we got this point to where Kofi needed to win that belt was because they had leniency on how charismatic they can be.
Yeah.
They had leniency on how they can interact with the crowd by throwing the pancakes. Big E could do whatever the fuck he wanted, right? And it was just happened to be that Kofi was the guy, right? But he was supplemented by the charisma of Big E and Xavier Woods. Yeah. Like, Kofi has charisma, don't get me wrong. But he is much credit goes to the fact that he was surrounded by Big E and Xavier Woods, who had leniency on their giving.
Like, their dynamic is like, you have the setup guy, which is Xavier. He comes out and delivers the crux of the promos, and then you have Big E and Kofi. They give like the supplemental little bits and pieces.
Like, Big E was always your hype man. Xavier is the guy who sells the story to you.
Yeah.
But Kofi's the guy who gets it done.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy who has the experience between those ropes.
Exactly.
And that's what they sold as their tag, right?
Yeah.
And it worked, and it got to the point now they are now where they are the world champions of the company, right?
Yes.
But it just seems to me in the last couple of weeks that with Kofi with this belt, they have taken away a bit of their charisma, a bit of that leniency.
Also, Big E's been out.
Big E's been out, but at the same time, some of their stories are seeming to be a little bit vacuumy, especially, and no steps to Ziggler, but just.
But like the weekend of Bernie's bit this week with EC3, like that I rate. That is like old school New Day shit. Like, they would do that, like just pick him up unconscious, make him do the weekend of Bernie's bit. And that is like, that feels to me like old school New Day sort of booking, or like give them a bit of leniency to go out there and do what they feel like is funny. So I think, you're right. They're a bit safer with the champion as a part of the faction now, but they're still probably one of the most lenient on promos.
Yeah, agreed.
Him and then obviously, I mean, Bray.
That's what I'm getting at. To me, they're not on Cena level.
They're not on Cena level. But yeah, it feels like you've got these guys there that could, if they're given the opportunity to play off the crowd a bit more and like add a bit of their own flavor to their promos. I think Seth has the ability. I think Finn has that ability, but just does not. I
love Finn, but I don't think he has.
Go back and watch his heel stuff in New Japan.
No, I agree, and only when his heel stuff there.
It's so good. It's so goddamn good. He just needs to be on like someone's shoulders the entire time.
The most interesting aspect with Finn is that he can juggle charisma between being Finn and the Demon. I would like to see more. Yeah. So the Demon, I love it. Like I've put over the Demon so many times on this fucking podcast. Yeah. The Demon is excellent, but right now it's a bit one-dimensional.
Oh, hell yeah.
The fact that it only shows when he needs to win, great, but build more. Give the Demon some personality, right? I think is what if we're going to be building forward with this, okay, we need to find people with charisma in this company to carry us. Finn can be, just show charisma on both ends. More of the Demon and more personality behind it. Other than the fact that I need to bring this out to kick your ass. Which is already established. You've already established that. It does it.
Yeah, we know.
We know. We know when the Demon comes out, it's a 95% chance that motherfucker opposite him is done, right? Whether it gets done in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that's the only thing that's up for debate, right? But it's done. The Demon wins. But give me more to it.
Yeah, exactly. I actually want to stiff Eric Bischoff for a short time here because he's on his way to Australia. He's wearing a Collingwood jumper.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, boo.
My man.
Boo.
So,
actually, no, I saw him on Instagram.
I do want to stiff him just for that short bit there. Bish,
I saw him
you're
on Instagram
supporting the wrong team, in my opinion.
Yeah, look. When the hell would he have picked that up?
Oh, it would have been probably...
When was he last in Australia? Shit.
Well, you don't think you can get AFL merch overseas?
Probably not.
Or
Yeah,
maybe Collingwood sent him the jumper overseas.
I don't know, because I saw him in it, like, he was wearing it like a couple of weeks ago on Instagram, and I copped that, and I'm like, I gave him a like, but I was like, I don't feel good about this.
But yeah, Bish is on his way to Australia as we speak right now, which is good. Someone who potentially you've spoken about that does really good promos, and this is getting better and better the weeks that it's continuing to go on. Bray Wyatt and Follow the Leader.
Yeah, Firefly Funhouse is awesome.
That was good. That was really good how that...
This week...
They know it's awesome. They know it, right?
Did this feel like the finale and we're going to see him after... We're going to see him either at Stomping Ground or after on the Raw?
I don't know what I want.
This felt like a finale.
I don't know what I want.
Because you had every single character he's had on the show on this episode.
Ramblin' Rabbit's still alive for some reason.
He just regenerates every week.
It's like Kenny from South Park. Ramblin' Rabbit is the Kenny of the Firefly Funhouse.
Honestly, if they had ran a gimmick where he like got killed off every week and then just showed up the week later.
Oh my God.
But don't even mention it. Yeah. I love it.
Oh my God, they killed Ramblin' Rabbit. Yowie, wowie.
It's back next week. Yeah,
that works though.
It really felt like a finale.
It does. Yeah. But I don't know what I want from this Bray Wyatt, though.
Well, that's the thing, like, does he show up in the steel cage after the Kofi match? Does he interrupt the Baron Corbin? Is he the special guest referee?
No.
He was wearing striped pants.
No, don't.
No, I know. He's not going to be a special He's not going to be a special guest
Cost
referee.
the match.
But no. Imagine, Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins are in the ring. There's no with the ring announcer. And then you hear the Firefly Funhouse theme song starting to play. And Bray Wyatt makes his way down to the ring. Imagine that.
Now,
there'll be a massive pop, though.
With how hot Bray Wyatt is, and we know he's hot, all right?
He's a hot man.
Are you strapping the rocket to him?
Fuck yeah.
Immediately throw him into the main event
You've got to now.
Then let him take it from Seth.
You've got to now.
Let him shock. Like, I think you need that.
You have to right now.
That.
Because if you don't, like, they probably...
Wait, is he on Raw or SmackDown?
They've been showing Firefly Funhouse on Raw. So
but the replay's on SmackDown. But I think it's more Raw-esque with Bray Wyatt. What I think, and this is my opinion as well...
And it would make sense. You finish the Corbin feud, you move on to Bray, and then let Bray be the one.
It's because with Bray Wyatt, I think that they might have put the belt on him maybe too abruptly a few years ago when he...
I don't think it was that abrupt.
No, I think that was good. I think
it was a long fucking build.
Yeah, but if you look at it...
They treated Bray so well in 2016 and 2017.
But if you look at it now, though... He only had the belt for just over a month, though.
It's unfortunate how he lost. He shouldn't have lost to Randy. That was the point. I get it. The story came to its conclusion with Randy he joined the Wyatt family to break them up.
And then Randy went over to Raw.
That was dumb.
But it was dumb that whilst the conclusion was fine, concluding was fine. The way it concluded wasn't. No. It should have been Bray getting the upper hand. You've already destroyed the Wyatt family, but you're not destroying me. right? And then he should have gone over and retained.
That's why I think it's now time to put the belt on Bray, because
and that's what I'm saying. If I'm WWE right, and like I wish I was, but if I was running the Raw Creative right now, you have got such a powerhouse in this Firefly Funhouse gimmick and a resurgence of Bray, and the fact that like I'm pretty sure it's not
Bray
just us
versus
sitting
Brock
here.
in future as well.
Yeah.
Imagine that, Bray Wyatt versus Brock.
Well, maybe you put a halt on this Brock plan and genuinely get him to cash in on Kofi, right? Because
that's my only thing. If Bray ends up on Raw, there is the specter of the cash in happening, probably at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
I'm still like if Seth still has the title,
I love having this.
Well, no, that's the thing because like
on Shane. Like I still have the thing where it's gonna be Kofi versus Shane at SummerSlam. And then Brock's gonna pin Shane at SummerSlam.
You know what the great thing about this is though? The fact that there's so much options, right?
There is.
Like, this is why I like WWE at the current point.
And Kofi still feels safe though, because he can then probably go after Brock in some capacity for the belt.
Yeah, let him but whether he wins it again, I think we've
no automatic rematches.
We've said it before. I do believe that it's a one and done for Kofi. It's just about when it ends. That's it. I don't think he wins another world title.
If he only gets this one world title run, I want him to hold it till at least Survivor Series. If not the Rumble.
He's currently on 70+ days. He's held it for a bit.
I want a 200 and something day run. If he only gets it once, I want it to be a massive run.
Okay, fair enough. I agree. I'm not saying
I would happily have him hold it till Survivor Series, because that is around about the time that Fox would have just taken over SmackDown. So if you need someone like Brock to come and get the belt for a little bit, then do it then.
Yeah.
You've got a year. Even though Brock didn't know he had a year, you've got a year.
Yeah. Because, it's only spec that he cashed in at SummerSlam.
I do not want it to be just a very stereotypical Mania to SummerSlam run.
Yeah, I agree.
There's more opponents for him. Like I want to see. So far he's had Kevin Owens. It was a good little feud.
He's finishing off Ziggler this week.
This is going to be the end of the Ziggler feud. As much as it seems like they're going to possibly do a Shane McMahon feud, I don't want to see it.
Do it, just to do it.
Yeah.
Because
get it over and done with. Get it over and done with. But there are other people on SmackDown who I think should go after the title with him holding it. Right now, unfortunately, Almas is out because of whatever. Like he's
a lot of personal reasons. You
got
Roman.
He would be a good opponent for Kofi. Roman would be a really fun opponent for Kofi.
Yeah.
In that
it would be an establishment opponent for him.
Exactly.
Because once you've beaten Roman, I would then look at Kofi and go,
Kofi gets
all right.
Yeah.
Even if this is this wouldn't be your one run then.
And I think Roman would be the kind of guy just to be like, yeah, I would happily give up a win to put Kofi over.
Yeah,
100%.
Because that's what's missing for me at Kofi at this point. He's beaten Daniel Bryan to get the belt fair.
It's a
right?
big win.
He needs this big win. So far, he's versus Kevin Owens, which is kind of a big deal. But Dolph Ziggler, as stiff as it is, which is not meant to be, but it's not a big deal. No. He needs an establishing superstar to beat, go over clean, and have a good match with. Yeah. That way, everyone's audience perception of him goes from jovial New Day guy who had an amazing uprising to win the belt, but now we're kind of feeling like that the aura of it's lacking a bit, to okay, now he's a main event star.
All right, how about this? Cena comes back. Kofi goes over Cena.
I agree, but I think it loses a lot of the fact that we would know Cena would come back
to specifically put him over.
Yeah, whereas if he were to beat Roman, it would fall into line of he beat him on a regular day. It was a regular course of business to beat him. Whereas if Cena came back, we know, we're sitting there going, yeah, love it. Amazing. Right? Love it. If you beat him, it's we don't really, it's obvious.
If they built the story around,
I need 17.
It's Cena going for his record.
And I can beat you because you're nothing, turn Cena heel.
That's not going to happen. But if Cena was I want to beat the guy who, because Daniel Bryan beat Cena. Cena has a negative win record against Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, he does too.
If he wants to come back and beat the guy who beat Daniel Bryan to prove that he is...
Same with Roman Reigns.
True. Same with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Got a losing record to Reigns. So you can weave that story into it, put a bit of believability, being like, this is my last chance to beat Ric Flair's record. This is my last chance to be the greatest champion of all time. And then he loses to Kofi. And then he stays tied with Ric Flair forever.
That is the final story with John Cena.
It is.
No, we've discussed it before, but I think it should be the final story.
No Jon Stewart this time.
No Jon Stewart.
What I'm getting at is, if that is, it should be Cena's final story. After that, he should genuinely call retirement.
Yeah.
And go, all right, if I can't get it, very Shawn-esque.
Okay.
I'm calling retirement if I can't beat Taker. Didn't beat Taker, retired.
Yeah.
Came back 8 years later. Fair enough, whatever. Don't talk about it. But this should be, all right, while I'm still relatively in some kind of good shape at the age of 42, 43, I'm going after 17. If I can't get 17, I'm done. You would build
Do you
a
reckon-
story, Shawn Michaels-esque
Let's think, like,
story there.
especially if Kofi is the guy to finish Cena's career, that puts him on another pedestal. That puts him so far
Now,
up.
whilst it puts Kofi on another pedestal, Kofi is like 35, 36.
I know.
And he's had about a 15-year career already.
He has.
Does he need
37
this
actually.
37. Does he need this elevation from a Cena put over? Especially if we're going to kind of look at it and go, all right, are we juggling the aspect of we have new emerging stars that can do it, as opposed to Kofi at 37, who would we be so adverse to him?
Undertaker retired Shawn, so
Yeah, but
and Shawn retired Ric Flair.
Yeah,
So it doesn't really matter as long as the story told in the retirement is fun or like enjoy, or like matters. Then I don't think it matters who retires. Like obviously, yeah, you would love like a Finn Balor or an Almas or a Johnny Gargano or an Adam Cole to retire Cena because it would make them a fucking megastar.
yeah.
But do you really need that?
I agree. No, I'm not saying there's no merit to it. You're 100%
There
right.
are- there
But
are other ways.
You have that balancing act, right?
I know.
That's that balancing.
But then it also means like if Kofi is the one to retire Cena, he comes back, has one more match, fails, raises Kofi's hand, walks off into the sunset, and goes and does Transformers movies for the rest of his life. The person that beats Kofi makes that a bigger deal as well.
It is. It's huge. No,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
So like,
And then you've also established Kofi to be like, all right, now I can see him being inserted into WWE title matches in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
And making sense without having this huge uprising that he needs to have
won't-
every single time.
he won't just go back to being a mid-carder when
Exactly.
he drops the title.
Yeah.
So there is value.
But there's also
in-
arguments to be made that maybe it's just our subjective view. Maybe the majority already looks at it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe the majority already looks at Kofi and goes, even if you dropped it tomorrow, I'd still see him as a main eventer. Right?
Yeah.
Like maybe we're not the majority.
But
Fair enough.
we've seen this before. Kevin Owens, second ever Universal
Yep.
title holder, and now he's back as a mid-carder.
Yeah.
And it wasn't long after he dropped the title that he was straight back to being a mid-carder.
Finn Balor.
Yeah. I mean, never got his title rematch until last year.
It's a hard
This
thing
year.
to quantify, isn't
is.
it?
No, it is.
To look at someone and go, I look at you and go main event, right? Because there's only a
That's-
handful of guys you can actually do that to. And then you got to think about, with those handful of guys, at what point did we say to ourselves, oh, they're main eventers, right? Because of those handful, Seth, Roman, AJ, Daniel, I will give Daniel Bryan the rub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not many.
Yeah.
And I mean,
That's about it, isn't it?
there-
Brock,
I
but
s-
part-time.
Yeah. I swear to God, every week, like, Braun Strowman should be a main eventer.
But should be, but you're not.
But he's
But we're
not.
not looking at him that way. But he's the one that's on the cusp. Now, I'm not saying he
He's
needs a world
always
title.
on the fucking cusp,
Yeah.
though. That's the thing.
But that's what I'm getting at. It's like
He's
now we're
always-
looking at it and going,
Joe should be up there.
Yeah.
Joe should always be up there. Ray, two-time
Ray,
world champion,
yeah.
three-time world champion.
three-time
sorry.
world champion. Yeah.
Also injured, which sucks. But yeah, like, I mean, you look back at the last, 30 years. Who are the people that are those stalwart main eventers? Rock, Stone Cold, Cena. Really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, okay, that's different.
end of
Those
the
are
day.
generational main events.
Yeah, I know, but
perennial stars,
but
defining of the industry.
even Orton, 13-time world champion?
No, but
And I find it-
I forgot. I do genuinely look at Orton as a main eventer in the aspect.
He's
of
a guy you can chuck in there at any point, and it's believable.
and
so,
it makes
yeah, okay,
sense. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
That's how I'm defining it in
okay,
this context.
okay.
Someone I look at and go, I can chuck in there at any point, and it makes sense. But makes sense without story.
Triple H or two-part time?
Two part time.
Oh, fair.
But that's what I'm going. Like while we have guys like Almas who can be, but they will be if on story basis. So they've managed to have a run so good that they've got them. It's the Kofi thing all over.
Yeah.
Right. What I'm saying is, of the guys we have currently, what can we look at as main eventers where we don't need story and we just go, you have walked out there and challenged him, and now it's big. Right. It's Roman. It's Seth. It's AJ. It's Brock. It's
Randy. Randy gets carte blanche. He gets
Randy gets carte blanche just for, like legacy value, right? But that's what I'm saying. There's 5 guys who at any point without story can be chucked into it and it becomes story based on the fact that they are main eventers, right?
Yeah.
Everyone else is either on the cusp who can be main eventers that they just need story, so Kofi, right?
Yeah.
But at what point do we look at that and go, all right, now I no longer look at you as someone who needs story? Daniel, did I say Daniel before?
Yeah.
You've
All right,
said it a few times.
yeah. So yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like Kofi, if he were to beat Cena, would we then change our perception and go, this man doesn't need story anymore. He is that much of an elevated star that we can just chuck him in, and he becomes main eventer without having to have story. And him being in that match becomes story.
probably.
There's
Yep.
about 5 or 6 guys that do that currently.
Yeah.
We'll quickly
Now,
move.
do we need more?
We'll move on now to stuff that are happening closer to home, so here in Australia and all that. And World Series Wrestling is one we're definitely need to have a good chat about too, because we're going
this weekend.
to this weekend. So Lucha Brothers versus Philippe Brothers. I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be good.
Sexy.
Robbie Eagles versus the bad boy Joey Janelle for the World Series Wrestling
That
World
is
title.
That is a PWG bowler rematch. Let me have that. Let me have all of that. I want it all. It's going to be so good.
Jeff Cobb versus the Business in Slex, which is really good. Slex's first match since becoming a father again.
Congrats.
So good.
I'm looking forward to this one. Joey Ryan versus Indy Hartwell.
Yep.
Which
Good
is
match.
gonna be fun.
It's going to be a good
Forward
match.
to seeing Indy.
Jordan
gonna be-
Grace versus Kellyanne for the World Series Wrestling Women's Championship.
Oh,
Love of my life.
David, are you going to take a
And-
spare pair of pants?
Oh, yeah, good question there.
She better take a spare pair of pants
Why? What does that mean?
so I can have the original pair.
Don't steal her pants. Don't steal her pants, David. Oh my God. You fucking weirdo.
And then Villain Enterprise versus the Flipper Machines for the tag team titles. The Flipper Machines are actually out in secure at the moment, buying some supplies for the 3 days they're in.
Is
Australia
Austin
for.
Aries coming down, or is this the first time we're not
This is
getting...
the first time we're getting.
Flip.
We're not getting a double A.
Aww.
Flip. Yeah, that's.
Is there a reason, maybe?
Possibly a surprise.
I was going to say
It could
maybe
be
he's
there.
just here. And
I wouldn't mind him getting involved in the main event if that was to be perhaps a thing.
Because
that
Austin
happens.
Aries to me, him and Joe Ryan are synonymous with
are.
World Series at
World
this
Series,
point.
yeah.
Like,
And I mean, you need that one prick on the card to just boo the entire day. And like, I mean, last time we saw him, he just weaved his way in and out of like every match. Like he
just
was
has
involved
fun
in,
with it, like-
he was involved in so much of it. So, and also when he refereed in hot pants, beautiful.
dude, that man refereeing not only in the hot pants, I don't
But
know
with-
if you were
with
there,
the belt on.
but he refereed in the belt
In
on.
the belt with hot pants. It was
Double
great.
A man deserves so much more fucking respect in this industry.
What I loved about-
He's so good and so crisp.
What I loved about A Double though, the last time we went to World Series was he was the captain.
Oh, he could do anything, the man. I love Austin Aries.
He's like, I'm the captain.
He's
You
a
need to listen to what I'm
cunt. He
saying.
knows he's a cunt,
Yep.
but that's his gimmick. This is wrestling. Like,
Yeah. Cunt man.
And he loves it. He laps it up.
Destroyer of cunts. I don't know. Yeah, that's this weekend.
the night, man. Oh.
Yeah,
Do
it's
not,
gonna be good.
do not get me started on bloody Sunny in Philadelphia, man. I love that show. Fuck.
And also,
Damn,
APW
man.
had Last Exit
Oh.
as well over the course of the weekend too. These two can set themselves up or
Sorry,
reset themselves
sorry.
up.
We're back. Oh god. Yeah, it's going to be good. I can't wait for this weekend. Also, New Japan tickets just got dropped to $35.
Yep.
One of us needs to cop that right now and buy tickets because
Shut it up.
I don't have the money at the moment.
Yeah, neither do I.
No, the way. I
Bullshit.
just paid for a fucking tooth extraction. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
have
you did
cash.
too. Yeah, fair enough.
I don't get
Well,
paid.
hopefully I get paid in a couple of days.
Ute.
So look, we'll see. But hopefully we're going to the New Japan show next weekend as well.
Yep.
Eagles
versus Ospreay there.
Eagles v Ospreay. That is enough. That is more.
Don't
than,
need to see the rest of the card. That's
yeah,
it. That's all I need.
that's honestly it because I have to work that
I
night.
don't know what this card is. I don't care.
Yeah, it is. We do get Tanahashi and Okada in a tag match, which
I mean,
Very.
it's a bit weird though.
why? They've tagged together before.
Oh, have they? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like somehow Tanahashi ended up as like a kind of like de facto member of Chaos for a little bit. But Chaos are good guys now, so it kind of works.
Yeah, a bit weird.
Yeah, a bit weird. But he defended him after the Jericho match.
That's
too.
true. That's
yeah,
true.
so
That's true. That's true.
They've got that
There's a bit of
healthy.
love. There's a bit
They've
of
got
love.
that healthy respect. They are the two top guys in New Japan.
You reckon they bring Mox down?
Respect each other. No, he
No.
is busy doing indie stuff in the States at the moment. He just had a match against Big Kaz.
Big Kaz XL.
and
Kaz and
and-
Top 2 and
and-
Enzo.
Enzo. And after the match, I did tweet this out.
Say what you want.
After the match, Kaz XL said that he was going to be the biggest thing in wrestling within a year. My response to that was, ha 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 ha, ha ha ha, ha ha. Get fucked. I mean, you're tall, don't get me wrong, but you're not going to be the biggest thing in pro wrestling.
Hey, have a bit of respect.
No.
You never know.
It's not going to happen. What happened with the Ring of Honor stuff? Oh, wait, that didn't go down very well, did
Look,
it?
just give the man his dues.
What fucking dues?
Give the man his dues, bro.
He gets no dues.
All right, just
No
give the
dues
man-
from me.
Give the man his dues.
He no dues from me. All right.
Stiff Enzo fair, but don't stiff Kaz.
What I'm also looking forward to, if we do go to Southern Showdown as well, is Mikey Nichols and Juice Robinson versus Tanaloa and Tamatonga.
Yes.
The bad boys.
It's going to be good.
God, I love Tomatonga so much.
But yeah, the main event,
Has he ever done WWE? Because if not, I think he's...
No, he's the other Tongaloa was in as fuck, what dumb name did they give him?
Because Tamatonga would do well.
Dude, he's the Samoan Randy Orton.
Yeah. Like, he would do well over there.
Yeah. No, he's got the look, the size, the ability, and the fucking mic skills.
The main
He's
event
so good.
of Southern Showdown as well is Tanahashi and Okada versus Farley and Jay White.
Oh, so you're not even main eventing with Robbie and Ospreay.
It's because it's the junior title, mate.
Yeah.
But it's a fucking tag match. For no
a
belt.
Yeah, I know, but it's Okada and Tanahashi.
Oh, but it's... Whatever.
This is Tanahashi's first time in Australia. His first tour.
Oh, yo.
Yeah.
Oh, so we got to go.
Yeah.
Naito on the card? Naito.
Is Naito coming?
No, he's not.
Fuck! We've seen Naito before, though. We've seen
Yeah.
it's already been CW.
It's over 100.
Tana!
And then really quickly, as you guys are idiots. And you guys...
Yep.
Quickly, results from APW's last exit as well, which happened over the course of the weekend. 2, Aria beat Chanel Phoenix. Mad Dog and Vixen beat the Band of Brothers. We're going to get a 2-on-1 handicap match between Jet Ruka and the Inmates for the 2-year anniversary show, which I'm looking forward to seeing.
I'm actually
the
hyped
tag
to see
title
how
match.
that goes. Respect on them not taking it off him, but I respect the angle of 2-on-1.
And then
This kid's going to come up big.
And then your 4 men who were competing in that ladder match for the Gladiator Championship. Zane Zodiac beat Joey Eclipse to get in. Law beat Crash after an interference from Xavier Black. Weaver beat Sid Parker due to referee stoppage. And Richard Taylor beat Erica Reed. So you got Taylor, Weaver, Zodiac, and Law in that ladder match, which is going to be brutal, which is going
Coming
to
up
be
at the
amazing.
2-year anniversary.
And Ada Miller beat the Australian sensation Craven by DQing as well. But yeah, the 4 matches being confirmed so far are the ladder match, Mad Dog versus Ada Miller for the belts, a street fight between Xavier Black and Jason Crash, and the 2-on-1 handicap match for the tag team titles as well. And Crackerjack is also hosting the event too, which is going to be good.
Sick. Also, this weekend, Eric Bischoff is doing his tour.
83
There he
weeks.
is.
There are limited tickets available. All the information is on that episode we did, which was episode 100 of the podcast.
Ricky will put another link up
Yeah,
on our
I-
we
social-
interviewed Bischoff, everyone.
We did. We got to interview Eric Bischoff. I'll be reposting the interview on all our socials this weekend,
as well as the tickets
and
availability as
all
well.
of the availability, all the places to go and buy tickets as well. So get around that.
Thornbury Theatre, Sunday, June 23rd.
One of us may be attending. It all does depend on our work schedules this weekend, which are all pretty full, unfortunately. But if one of us do attend, we will be reporting back next week. If not, hopefully, if you go and check it out, it's awesome. And apparently, Stomping Grounds is happening this weekend.
Which is in the video, which is in the link below.
Yeah, we'll be doing a prediction video. It'll be out at the same time as this. I'll, of course, post that everywhere as well. It's going to be an interesting one because, fucked if I don't know what the card is.
Well, Michael has his computer in front of him,
Yeah,
so we'll
good.
find out.
We'll find it. We'll do the prediction video. It'll be up. Anyway, you can follow us everywhere at Australia Mania at STRAYMANIA, Australia Mania Pod on Twitter and Instagram, Australia Mania Podcast on YouTube and Facebook. You can follow me everywhere at Ricki Needs at RICKINEEDS, Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTubes. David.
You follow me at Instagram today, _ the Halfcast Prince.
And Michael.
He's not getting rid of the half-cast prints at all, which is I'll pay. Time Media on the Twitter sphere.
There we go. Anyway, enjoy the week in wrestling. If you're going to World Series, we'll see you there. If you're going to Eric Bischoff, we might see you there.
Farewell to
And-
the Indie shirt is coming my way too. Hopefully Joe Ryan is bringing that down.
Liar. It's not the farewell to the Indies. He's a
But
liar.
I want a shirt though to complement my King of Dong style shirt, which I'm wearing
Fair
tomorrow.
enough.
But I'm wearing to the show by the way is the King of Dong style shirt.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
probably
supporting my boy Joe Ryan.
Bullet Club. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, and enjoy Stomping Grounds.
Robbie Eagles will love you if you do that though.
Well, yeah, I'm repping Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Enjoy the week in wrestling. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the Heartifact Podcast Network. For more of this and our other podcasts, head to heartifactstudios.com.au.